Welcome everybody. This is the last project that we're going to build together before you start working on your group app. And so we're going to take the Parstagram app from last week and layer in a few more concepts and features that'll hopefully be useful for you as you build your own group project. So the first thing is that, as I mentioned to you before, most iOS apps are composed largely of table views. So hopefully that pattern is getting really familiar. And so in fact, most table views have more than one row type. Previously, we've mostly been only working with one prototype cell, but most table views have several, at least 3 or 4 different types. For example, this is the one that we started with last week, which has the photo and the caption. And you can see that I've added one more for this add a comment section. And I'm going to add another one for when I actually add a comment here. So like, this is a great photo, and I'll add that comment. And this is actually a separate cell for the actual comment. So most table views have several different cell types, and then as a convenience, we're actually also going to divide them into rows and sections. So I'll explain that in a second. We'll also add the feature to log out, and if a user is already logged in, we're going to switch them immediately to this feed view. Hopefully you're slowly starting to get the hang of iOS, and so if you haven't done one of the bonus features yet, this might be a great week to do it. What you're trying to test is that you can start to do things outside of things that we've explicitly laid out for you in one of the videos, and see if you can piece together some of the previous concepts and accomplish your own tasks. For example, the bonus features this week involve the ability to add a profile picture in each user, which is conceptually the same as adding a profile picture to a post, and then displaying that picture here. And one gotcha is that all users may not have photos. And so you have to be able to handle the fact that some users will and some users won't. So if they don't, it's pretty common to have a placeholder image instead. So you can add a static asset to your Xcode assets. And then if they don't have a profile picture, show that asset. If they do have a profile picture, then you can download it just like we download the image for these posts. So that might be a fun feature to try because it involves just layering together one of the concepts from previous weeks, but it is non-trivial to do it, especially without a walkthrough video. Other than that, the most important thing to explore this week is to continue to think about schema design. So schema design is the data in your application. One part of schema design, it gets fairly straightforward. So for example, the basic part of schema design is defining what tables you'll have. We have a table called posts, and then defining what columns are in each table. And that's something that you can do iteratively. It's fairly straightforward. Just draw your wireframe. And then if you think about everything that's in your wireframe. Whatever's in your wireframe, you probably need a column for that in your table. So here's my picture URL, here's a user, here's a caption. And so all of those things define the columns. And that's the first part of schema design, which is just defining the tables and then what's called the attributes. Now, the second thing that we're going to do as a use case here this week is we're going to explore adding comments. So comments, similarly, they have their own attributes. So I have a user that made the comment, what the actual comment text was, and maybe the post that comment is associated with. And then we have to understand, how do we manage the relationships between these tables? And so for example, this particular post may have n number of comments. So it's called a one-to-many relationship. How do you manage that situation? And so that's something that you'll commonly have to do in your group app, is to think about the relationships between your objects. So that's it. I hope you enjoy this final week before you launch into your group project, and I'm really looking forward to what you all build.